Hi, I'm
I'm
Avery,
Lily.
and Hazel is tired. It is nap time.
Today we are going to cover the descent of right hand guy to the value of pi.
We're doing Infinity Train season 3.
Also,
Um,
that was one of my favorite quotes from one of the videos that I watched on explaining season 3. I watched a lot of those.
yeah. So this is the first podcast episode we're recording where Lily and I are going to be completely disagreeing on uh whether or not the thing we're covering is good.
Avery's a big poopy face. I'm kidding.
It might not be the first one we publish though, because this one's probably not coming out until September.
Math.
Yes, math. Um,
God, I
but
forgot about
anyway,
how long. I wonder what we're doing after Camp. That should be interesting.
yeah, that'll be interesting, especially since everybody listening to this will already
Who
know.
knows? The people listening are
Um,
probably like screaming through their monitors, like, come on, you dumbasses! Everyone knows by now.
yeah, but we don't because we're recording this in March and we haven't even selected the next TV show yet.
Uh, you say like we have a choice on selection. We take that up to the hands of
We
fate.
don't. Yeah, we just throw a wheel and that's it.
Wait, we throw a wheel?
Yeah, we
Oh
throw it.
shit. Um,
You could say we wheel it.
oh, no, too soon.
uh, so I didn't like this season very much.
This is my favorite season.
So far, season 2 is my favorite season.
I think it'll stay that way, judging on how mellow season 4 is. Because season 5 was supposed to ramp it up. Didn't happen.
See, like I'll talk about my issues with it. So for starters, I feel like the character of Hazel could have just been like a lot better.
Hmm.
I don't really feel like she has any kind of meaningful character arc. It's
Oh,
more like,
that's the best part. She was supposed, I believe she was supposed to be in season 5.
oh,
Yeah,
great.
that's
Well, yeah,
why, that's why,
that's not that surprising. That's not that surprising considering she ends up going with
yeah,
Amelia.
Amelia and
Um,
Hazel left to set up whatever book 5 was supposed to be.
yeah, even though obviously now it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and now I
Um,
understand that. Because obviously I still have hope on season 5, even if that hope is going fastly decaying. Though it's actually, I was finding it funny. Literally, a lot of videos on season 3 talk about season 4. Like, God, this is. I don't know if this is coming. And had to, like, edit the video. It's like, so, season 4 is coming. Oh, and my
yeah,
favorite gods. Season 4. Well, Christ on his sick. I guess there is a god.
but okay, so that was the first
Mm-hmm.
one. Next, I'll talk about Grace. I did not find Grace to be that compelling of a protagonist. Her entire story arc is focusing around how like she has to basically overcome her racism, and I don't really feel like there was enough time in order to show it effectively. um, I feel like it could have been done a lot better, and there's some very like overtly how do I phrase this? She says some things that racists have been known to say a lot. Um,
Or cult.
yeah, and it's like there's not really any consequence on her end for the things she's done. It's more like everybody else pays for it, and she kind of just gets off scot free.
I wouldn't say scotch free. Jesus, that looked horrifying.
Okay, what Robbie did to her doesn't really
Simon.
count because that wasn't Simon, whatever. I said Robbie because I keep thinking that he's like Robbie from Gravity Falls, just made 30 times more
Wait a minute.
infuriating. Um,
They have the same voice actor?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because now that you bring that up, I was like, wait, that holy shit, that actually kind of makes sense. God, I'll look at it later.
Yeah, like, but anyway, like, the other thing too is like, season one, we had Tulip as the protagonist, and she was dealing with being a young girl, who, like, has divorced parents who don't really know how to deal with that yet, and, like, struggling with the loneliness and
So season one
ex-
morals was about change. Season two is about finding oneself.
yeah, and like with season two, we had. I'm gonna talk about both Jesse and Lake because Jesse had some depth to him
Mhm.
as well, where he was like, um, he had wrongs that he needed to amend. He had to learn how to kind of stand up for himself and say no, and also just like stand up for other people as well. Because like there was that whole story about how he hurt his brother by not being able to say no to his friends. Um,
Friends in
and then
quotation marks.
and then we have Lake or Mirror Tulip or MT, whatever you want to call her, and like she had the whole she had the whole thing of like you know just wanting to be herself and live her life despite the world not wanting her to, which is which is a story that I very much relate with because I mean, as an LGBT person, I live it every single day. Um,
And then we get to season three, the cult of
yeah,
the
and then
conductor.
we get to season three, and our protagonist is Grace. And Grace, what's her story? She didn't get a lot of attention as a child, and so she started stealing to seek attention, and then she gets kidnapped by the train and accidentally starts a racist cult.
I would say, and the big thing about season three, when forgiveness goes too far. Let me explain. So tell me, what happens if you do something bad on the train? You just get, your number, just rises a second chance. The train knows nothing more than second chances. And season three explores how second chances not only can hurt the person giving the second chance and the person receiving it.
Eh, I mean, that's one way to look at it, I
Well,
guess.
you really see it in the final episode with well, Simon has his entire body is demonstrated how many second chances he's gone.
I mean, I don't know if I would call it like second chances. It's more of just like a total of like, I don't know, the bad thoughts he has or the emotional problems or whatever, problems that need to be
Well,
solved. It doesn't really necessarily mean that he's getting a second chance. And obviously he doesn't. He ends up dying at the end of the season, which just
mhm. Well, yeah, that because he never needed to learn. Every time he did a bad thing, his number just grown. And I guess I should, because you have this thought where the number represents whatever is in the mind, but it's more of the number is based on the actions you do. Obviously, you break a clock, more points to you, or whatever.
But that doesn't
The,
really make sense because, like, Tulip. It, what did Tulip done that was bad? She had a number. What had Okay, well, Jesse had done some bad things, but um
well, Tulip didn't exactly do much to stray from her rehabilitation goal. And you actually can see when Tulip was just going to be walking back on, I think after Atticus was turned into a monster and she was just walking back, going to not do anything and probably cry on her own. Um, you can see her number was skyrocketing because the more bad stuff you do, I guess, correlates to how how big the number is.
I don't feel like it's that simple because, like, it seems to me like, it also has like problems
Mm-hmm.
that you have that you need to be solved. Also, like, takes a like, also is an element in
Oh
that.
yeah, and I
um
completely forgot. You actually,
like,
sorry,
I don't feel like the number is just one thing.
that's true. Yeah,
That's
well, actually, the number is confusing as fuck. Not
Yeah.
just how you gain more numbers or decrease. Where the frick, like, so hypothetically, if this was grounded in any realistic standard, the number Simon should have was just all nines. Why is it just a bunch of random numbers on his? Why is all of this just random numbers when you get, to the numbers wrapping around your body? That's
Yeah,
the
like, and for
one
that
big
matter,
thing I have, and obviously it was shown in season one, so you can't
yeah,
fault
it's
season
like,
three for following the groundwork.
I mean, I think it's intentional that the numbers are so vague.
Hmm.
um but yeah, I definitely don't feel like it's just like the number of second chances that a person has
Well,
gotten,
I
or
mean
even the
that.
number of problems that they have to
Well,
fix.
that's a hyperbole, not like I'm relating it to. Basically, you do something bad. Like the train never punishes you. There's no um, jail car where you have to go say about your problems because you destroyed a clock. There's none of that. You just get a higher number and you just get along with your day. There's no punishment, and the train doesn't kick you out.
Yeah, but then you have the weird case of Amelia.
He hijacked a train.
Yeah, she hijacked the entire train, but interestingly, she's being made to essentially clean up her mess.
Well, she did say that she herself was just trying to make amends, and that little peanut wasn't actually making her do anything.
But anyway, then let's talk about
And
Simon.
here's what I was gonna talk more into this. Thinking about vague things. Um, I know this because I think someone was asking the creator. You don't know why Simon was able got on the train in the first place.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I feel because like if we did know why he got on the train, it would feel
No, it
like
wouldn't.
he he would feel more human. It would feel like there was more emotional depth. And
What do
don't
you
even say
think?
no, it
What do you
wouldn't.
think happened?
How am I supposed to
He
predict what
lost
would have
spelling
happened?
bee. That was the creator's response. He lost the spelling bee.
I'm gonna put this out here right now. Nothing said in interviews matters if it's not shown in the content. You can't count it. If it's not shown, it doesn't matter.
It's still lore.
Hell, hell, you know what else is
Hmm.
lore? All right, I've seen creators and writers and everything disagree on established canon in a show, and it was just so it's often so bad when you just try to go off of lore that's coming from interviews and whatnot, um, or blog posts or whatever. Like, if it's not shown in the show, it doesn't matter.
Well, not like he can show it in the show anymore. No show.
Yeah. But, like, if that's the case, that, like, he lost a spelling bee, that just makes him even worse of a character.
Because the thing, like the problems that they had, it wasn't be why they were on the train. That's not their problems anymore. They got new problems while being on the train.
Yeah. And the new problem that Robbie got, I mean, fuck, Simon, the new problem that Simon got um, was that he and the cat, who we've now learned
Samantha.
is named Samantha, just kind of random, but okay. Um,
Honestly, like the past two
uh,
episodes, I was thinking that every time I was saying the cast, like, real name Samantha.
but yeah, like, ugh, okay. So Simon's new problem is that when he was very young, he and Samantha were running away from this weird bug creature, and he got left behind, and he had to be saved by Grace, and that's when he got roped into this like accidentally racist cult. Um, and obviously, like the whole situation with Samantha left him with trust issues, and obviously, his part of him being on the train, if we're to believe this interview, is like him losing a spelling bee, and I assume like just being mad about it. Um, obviously thinking he was always right is also a symptom of trust issues as well. Um, because
Mhm.
like people who have trust issues tend to try to be sure of everything that they believe,
But
um,
the
because they
feeling
can't trust it
of
because they can't trust
yeah,
anyone but
the feeling
themselves.
of that they're always right goes into the second hand of him being irredeemable.
Well, see, him being unredeemable was just a natural like evolution. He got worse and worse
Mhm.
over time, especially after he found out that Grace was hiding Hazel's transformations from him. Um,
Oh
and
god,
also the fact that
that was I don't know how I feel about that. Just the repeating, we won't tell Simon, okay? We won't tell Simon, okay?
yeah, and then like also the fact that she wouldn't show him how low her number was getting. Um,
Because they seen it
that
as power, and Grace felt, well, weak. In the literal
yeah,
sense,
and
just you just felt weak. Hmm.
So yeah, like naturally these are making Simon's trust issues worse and worse. So obviously he would spiral even further.
And because of that, once a person no longer can accept other views and will push their, oh my god, Grace actually said something really well. My memories are right until you disagree with them. Simon was so deep that he was disagreeing with Grace's own memory.
Yeah, like that's how far these people like that's how far
And
people who think they're always right just go.
people who are
Um,
always right cannot be redeemed because no matter how much you tell them they're wrong, they will create justifications to say that they're right. And that's why I love this season. It's and
the thing is though, that, like that's not always a guarantee. Sometimes people like it okay, so it's a thing called confirmation
hmm,
bias. Um, and in people who quote unquote think they're always right, the confirmation bias is stronger than it is when with most other people. Um, but you can like a person can break free of it. Um, obviously at the point that we're at with Simon and Infinity Train, it's just not going to happen. And most of the
hmm.
time it and most of the time it's not going to be up to you to try to change someone's mind who is set like that. It's literally going to be entirely up to them.
And
I know that's how it was for me because
some
I mean,
sorry, I'll let you finish that.
yeah, like I used to be a much different person before the pandemic hit, and I was stuck inside all the time, and I had nothing but time to learn about all the things that I thought I knew everything about.
Oh my, I feel like I
And
remember, I forgot whose theory it was, but how, like, when you know a little bit about something, you think you know a lot until, and when you go more
yeah,
realization, it comes more of a curve down and then curve a little bit up.
it's called the
Ah,
Dunning-Kruger
thank you.
effect. And that spike right at the very top where you think you know you're super confident even though you know very
Hmm.
little uh, is literally called Mount Stupid.
I love it though. Mount stupid.
Yeah. Um, and like obviously I've gotten
Hmm.
better at, recognizing when I don't know as much as like I think I do about a certain topic. Um, and the thing with Simon, I keep wanting to call him Robbie because the characters are just incredibly similar. They both have nice guy syndrome too, so that doesn't help. Even though Robbie's got the nice guy syndrome worse
Oh
than
yeah, I don't know
Simon.
who got the nice guy syndrome worse than Robbie. It also hurts that we literally just finished covering that.
Yeah, we literally just finished Gravity Falls not too long ago. And matter of fact, I think at the time we're recording
This
this,
next episode.
our last episode,
Yeah, the
yeah, like it's our next episode that we're releasing,
yeah,
I think.
season let me look at the calendar. Yeah,
Season
season
2.
2, March 28th.
But yeah, I think in general that's and then the other thing too that makes that makes Simon's situation even worse. The character that he goes to for advice is a character that we already know isn't someone you should be
Hmm.
trusting. Samantha.
And one of my favorite lines from the cat. Well, I never lie when I tell the truth.
Ah, yes. I was actually considering saying that as the opener for.
And oh yeah, so I was spoiling a little bit of season 3 in our last podcast. And as a quote from me,
Yeah.
you can't, it's not a spoiler if you just lie. because when I was rewatching, I was like, oh shit. First of all, episode 7 was not the episode they left. That was episode 8. Episode 8 wasn't actually that impactful at all.
And then like another thing too that I feel like I didn't like about this season, like I think it's like totally fine if there was like, no one to escape the train in the
Mhm.
season, but like at the end of episode 10, I literally said out loud, "That's it?"
Yeah, that. Oh god, I definitely do feel that. But honestly, the more and more I go back to it, I just feel like it's a fitting end because it doesn't. Well, like Infinity Train season 1, though that was like episode 8. It doesn't try to force a happy ending. That's the ending that
Yeah.
just naturally happened, and well, they're all improving together, and the Apex is probably going to change into a group helping people, get off the train, even, learning what their problems are.
Yeah.
If,
Like
the Apex even stays together for more than 5 minutes.
now I'm going to throw out a spoiler for season 4. Samantha dies.
Not a. Oh, God, that actually cannot actually be. Why am I saying actually so much?
Actually, I don't know why you're actually saying actually so
Damn, you
much.
don't know either?
Actually, no.
Okay, so I don't actually think it was especially stated in this season. Yeah, no, it was only implied. Because if you look how everyone dressed and, the ages of all the characters that you did know, season 4 took place in the past.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
But that's also a spoiler. Thanks for that. I mean, the thing that I said was a spoiler was literally just me spitballing.
but like just hearing that, I was just like, that just make an immediate paradox. I mean, you
But
see it
yeah,
in the first episode, and it is never explained why. It just is. In fact, it never
um,
actually explains, oh, by the way, this is taking in the past. It just expects you to know.
also, okay, so I think I will dish out something. Like, I will talk about some things that I did like about this season. Uh, because there were a few things. Uh, Number one, I loved Tuba. She was great.
Number one.
Uh, Two, I really loved Amelia's reaction when she found out like that there was basically this cult of passengers worshiping her.
Oh yeah, that was. No, and there's something I kept quiet in season 1 on when it was about, when we were talking about the turtles. You can actually see the entire reason why there was turtles. It was on that damn handkerchief.
Hmm. And then another thing I really liked that Amelia was bad at cooking. Um, it's like random character traits like that really help to like flesh out a character more and allow people to relate to them.
Oh yeah, and
And I also really liked that like you know um, Hazel and Amelia immediately have a bond because they've both lost someone that they care about.
I don't think that's the reason.
No, like it very
Well,
clearly,
that well
explicitly.
that too, but also because Hazel kind of was one of the failed Aldrichs.
Yeah, but like that was found out a little bit
Well,
later.
even though it was found out, it can't actually because it was literally said that I hate to turn down a compliment 33 years, but I met you yesterday. You never had my pancakes.
But yeah, like I really appreciate that little thing, and also it probably isn't in your best interest to argue against something that I liked in this season.
No, I'm just saying how but actually, okay, this is gonna be a weird sidetrack, but some it's a concept that I learned from freaking Sam and Max Freelance Police, the show. That was a show, by the way. But it explores a concept that I like to call tell, not show. And you can actually see this, and it sounds stupidly weird said out loud, but I need an example, and I have one. So, you know how Grace and Simon are just randomly talking about things that, already happened to them, but was never shown to us? That's what I would describe that as.
Yeah, I actually don't like that. Like tell don't show is actually a
Hmm.
common criticism of things.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's stupid. Because,
it's not like if okay, tell don't show often happens when like a movie will sit there and narrate to you about things and not actually show them to
well,
you. It's like
in this
um
instance, is more of, um, tell, don't show. It's more of, ex- like, just have natural conversations between characters, but not actually show what they're talking about, because that just makes sense. You're only, viewing their lives in like a 1 hour space, or like multiple hours if it's a TV show. You won't know
okay, but like
everything about in their lives, and it shouldn't be up to the characters to only speak about what um what you already know.
but that's not really tell don't show.
It's like a better name, and I just stole it from someone who was talking about Sam and Max.
Yeah. Like tell don't show
Mm-hmm.
is a actually a common problem. The Last Airbender
Oh
movie
god,
suffers
yeah, it
from this
does. Well,
because
all of Shyamalan's
yeah,
movies suffer from that.
I don't know. He's had some really good movies from what I've
I just
heard.
remember
And I think I might have seen a
Well, I
couple.
just remember
But I
he
don't know.
just loved exposition.
Yeah, and it's like, when you sit there and you talk about something rather than showing it to us, it just
Hmm.
kind of drags on and makes people bored.
Again,
Um,
what I've it's lack of better words, and I don't actually have I don't know, maybe tomorrow I'm just gonna think about. Now that's what I should be doing it before the next podcast. Just try to find out a bigger name for the concept I just described. In 2 months, you might
uh,
actually get my new name for it.
Yeah, I would say it's just like, providing a little bit of extra backstory to the
Yeah.
characters, but I want to emphasize the little bit because they really don't do that much of it
Oh
in
yeah,
the
they
show.
don't. I mean, I would have loved it a whole lot more. Like, give
Like,
me
I'm gonna
more.
compare it to
Oh my god, you
Avatar
are.
again. I'm gonna compare it to Avatar again because, like, there are conversations in Avatar that are the embodiment of what you're describing. Like, I'm thinking specifically about after Katara first learns that she has the ability to
Hmm.
heal, um, and Sokka's like, "Oh, thanks for all the healing over the years," and he lists off several things, and then he's like, or the time I got 2 fish hooks stuck in my thumb. And Aang was like, 2? And Katara's like, he tried to get the first fish hook out with another fish hook. Like, see, that is a perfect example of fleshing out characters with, like, backstory dialogue that you don't really need to show us. Um, and they do that a lot in Avatar. That
No,
was
they
just
do
one
a lot of
example.
it in Sam and Max. For as weird of a show as it was, it, there's a lot of. Actually, the first episode has last time on, and they never do it again. It was just one gag.
Wow.
That's why I love that show, though I don't think we're able to cover it because of the nature of it's not a story driven show, so there's not much we can cover about it.
Yeah, Camp is already hard enough for us
Oh
to
god,
cover.
yeah. Though then again, we've already finished it by the time
No.
you're watching.
Yeah, by the time you guys are listening to this, we've finished
We have
it.
to do season
But for
4.
us, yeah, we still haven't recorded season 4 yet. But that'll come out first.
Yeah. In fact, we're recording this so far in the future, I can't do math to that. I don't know. Actually,
I think this episode comes out
oh
in
god, I'd be
September.
graduated by then. Oh god, that's a scary thought to think about. I'm gonna stop thinking about that now.
Start thinking about it more. You literally graduate in 2 months.
Anyway, let's.
um but yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like previous
Mhm.
seasons, like I felt more attached to the characters. Even Tulip, who I feel like, who I commented on saying like I should have felt more attached to her. I still felt more attached to her than I did to any of the characters in this season.
Honest, I don't know. Um, who was it? Who was it? It was Oh my god, the older woman, the old conductor. Yeah, sorry,
Amelia,
I randomly forget people's names. Anyway, Amelia was a mood.
yeah, like Amelia, and it's kind of unfortunate that we don't get our book 5 because I think that one would probably be the
That
best
one would
one.
have slapped hard. Actually, we
Hopefully, if they did it
actually
right.
we know it was going to be book 5. And do you know why? And actually, yeah, it was the entire reason why Infinity Train was canceled. There was no child entry point. That's the exec talk for it.
Yeah, so basically they kind of canceled it for a similar reason as to why they canceled Teen Titans. Although Teen Titans there was a child entry point, they just couldn't sell toys because it was getting too popular with everyone. And
What was the Infinity? Oh god, that was a lifelike model of Infinity Train coming of the
oh
actual
god,
train.
please no. Just give me a tulip figure.
God, no, I would. No, I want the cat figure. And Avery, can I do the little blurt at the beginning of the episode for next episode of Infinity Train?
Sure, but you have to start it with "Hi, I'm
Fine,
Lily."
I can do that. Though you still have to give me the 3, 2, 1 go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's just every time I say the cat, there's just a line I am itching to say in season 4.
But
You'll
yeah,
know. You'll know it when you see it.
generally I just didn't really like this one very much, but like I want to hear some of the things that you really liked because I don't want it to be
Yeah,
completely one-sided,
so
and I want the audience to understand your rating when you eventually give it.
okay, there's just so much I love about this, but let's just start with Simon. I love, well, first, I love how they tried to redeem him, failed, and then he died. Like, I don't know, I just don't, you don't usually see shows where, especially such a main protagonist, doesn't get redeemed. And his Simon was just so far gone, like, there just would, sorry, could not be redeemed, did not get redeemed, and felt like they didn't deserve to be redeemed.
Honestly, I got that feeling with Grace too sometimes, where I didn't feel like Grace deserved
Well,
redemption.
the thing about
Um,
Grace
a couple
is
of
that
times.
she can, like, she accepted the fact that, um, what the person Amelia was saying to be true. She accepted the fact, that her entire worldview was wrong. And someone that I was watching executes this perfectly. What we decide is irredeemable most of the time it's in with our own context. They burned down a village. They killed the innocents. But it's really the context of the story. And I guess in this story, what makes him irredeemable is because he refuses to be redeemed. And also the music. I say this way too much in our podcast, but I actually go back to the soundtrack of when Grace was stuck in her tape. And let's ricochet
I
off
will.
of that and say how much I love the visuals on being stuck in your own tape is. You,
I will say, before
sorry.
you continue there, in regard to the music, the only time so far for me watching Infinity Train where I was like, damn, this is some really good music, was in the last few episodes of season two. Because they
What about
really popped off
episode
hard.
1 with Escape to the Train? That
It was just kind of okay for me. Like, it fit the vibe and everything, but it was like, okay,
uh, uh
yeah, this works.
remind me
This
to
works for what it is.
show you, like, I think I've seen like a really good remix of that theme, and I want to show you. Not just the show is really good, but also I need to share the experience.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
later.
and they explored
But
being
continue.
trapped in your own tape in season 1, but I just feel like it was so much better done in season 3, especially with all the visuals. As especially with Hazel ridiculing Grace on her worst mistakes. And
I'm gonna. I'm okay. I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit here. I do agree about the visuals, but
mhm,
obviously the visuals were gonna be better because they had at least a year,
well, not
probably two.
well, that's
If
true, but
um,
also, like, I just feel like it was more explored and it's more, how should I say, chaotic. Yeah, that's the
I
right word.
really,
It's just more chaotic.
I think I really liked the way like Tulip exploring her tape was like, I really liked that specific
Mhm.
story a lot more than I liked this one. Um, because like the whole thing with Tulip is like in order for her to escape, she had to remember the things as they actually happened instead of how her emotions were clouding them.
In this, it's
And I really
more
liked that
of
aspect. Yeah. I really like that aspect of it. Whereas with this, it
She had
feels
to
like,
come with Grace had to come with terms to her. Well, I guess her emotions, everything she was thinking, was just a jumbled up mess until this point.
yeah,
And
pretty
I love
much.
how it pulls no punches. And it was because, I mean, really think about it. Yeah, Grace was trying to blame Simon for, killing Tuba, and Hazel in her brain was having none of it. And probably one of the best lines, a coward leading cowards. I
Yeah,
think that's a lot of what the Apex um, stands for, and honestly, what
it's also a lot of what you know what. Never mind, I won't go there.
I feel like I actually know where you're going.
Let's not.
I'm not. We'll discuss this after the podcast. And the most disgusting thing. Oh yeah, and right after this, we also have the most disgusting thing in the entire season, and in fact, show. You remember that, don't you?
Well, you're gonna have to
Of
be more
how
specific.
Grace had to yank the tape from her own head
I mean, honestly, I've seen
in the
worse.
show. Yeah,
No, just like in
like you
general,
can see
I've
worse
seen
in
worse.
general, but I'm saying in the show, definitely up there.
I mean, it's kind of disgusting. It doesn't make me like okay. You know those tubes that you sometimes have to have shoved up your
Oh
nose?
god, yeah, those I would never want to be in that situation.
Matter of fact, Iron like in Iron Man, Tony Stark pulls one of those like out of his nose. That is way more disgusting to me.
I don't know, it's just the visuals and how much um ugh. And the liquid keep coming out of her brain. That is just too much. Too much. I
I think anything to do with eyes is going to gross me out a lot
mhm.
more. Um, like one thing I absolutely cannot handle, like okay, so gory shit I can typically stomach very well, but when you get to injuring the eye,
Oh,
especially piercing it in any way, that really like I can't deal with
oh
that.
god, I remember in a game someone like put their thumb right through someone's eye. That made me physically just like, and this it just made me like,
Yeah,
oh
like
god, I do not want to see this. No, that made me physically disgusted.
yeah, like I can't handle that type of stuff. Like when just specifically when it's the eyes.
Uh, and Grace confronting Simon, that was also really good in my eyes. And the fact that Grace, no matter how much wrong Simon has done to her, especially in the last 5 minutes, she refuses to let Simon die.
And then he dies
Well,
anyway.
and I seen so many reactions that, oh, he saved. Kick. Just, I think and Avery, you know how little reactions I give. I think I audibly gasped. Like I actually showed emotion when Simon just cold clocked Grace off the train.
You want my honest opinion
Yeah,
here?
sure.
I fully expected him to do it.
Honestly, like going back on that, yeah.
Like, cause like again, that's another one of those things where like I've seen it
What about
before.
the
Uh,
tuba? That's something. Because I think I not exact. No, I didn't expect that, but I definitely expected.
I wasn't expecting him to just kill Tuba outright like that, right then and
Mhm.
there. Um, but I was fully expecting him to try to kill Grace because I've seen it so many times where um, character bad, good character save bad character's life, bad character immediately tries to kill good character.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, wait. What
it
about
is, it has
Hazel?
happened so many. It's Hazel. I'm not surprised that she left
No,
with
I'm talking about her being
Amelia.
a denizen.
I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. I was like, oh, okay, so she's got a gray number. Wonder what that's about.
Hmm.
Um, her being a denizen just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because
I
the number wouldn't change, and it's just part of her design.
Actually, there is something I did not pick up when I first watched this season. I did not know the number on Hazel's hand was actually the number represented for Amelia. That was interesting.
But yeah, anyway, continue on. Unless you don't really have
I
anything more
don't
to say.
know. I mean, oh, the opening. How could I forget about the opening?
Isn't it the exact same as it's been the last two seasons?
No. Because it opens with the Apex preparing on their next mission, their next raid.
Oh, I thought you meant like the
Oh
intro
no,
thingy
I'm
that they
talking
did.
about
Yeah,
like the how they begin the first episode.
yeah. Um, I can't believe I forgot about that too, because like the song that was playing was the song that Jesse kept trying to sing in the last season, but never really got a chance
Yeah,
to.
and the song was finished. Yay! And then they trashed the train, which
Yeah, because it's what they do best.
which is just the contrast between the happy song versus the Apex. Grace, who's the number one thing she's concerned with is not preparing for the raid, but what color knee pads she's gonna be wearing. Simon, so focused on nerdy shit. He's a nerd.
You play Plants vs Zombies and Nino Cooney.
Okay, only one of those that plays I'm a nerd, and it's the Nino Cooney. Plants vs. Zombies was a very popular game on the mobile app store, okay?
Yeah, but then you continued to play the other releases that weren't on mobile.
I mean, honestly, Plants vs. Zombies was much better when it wasn't on mobile. Jesus, Plants vs. Zombies 2 sucked. Well, okay, whatever the tier above sucked was, but it wasn't good. Like, it was okay.
Yeah. So, with regards to ratings, I believe you gave season 1 a 8.7, and I want to say you gave season 2 a 9.0.
Yes. And I actually intended to give this season like way higher in the nines because, well, okay, now I have this stupid song stuck in my head. The
What song?
when I look at you,
Oh,
I
that.
see me. Got it.
This is why you don't have a music career.
Hate this season 1 out of 10. Kidding. All because of one song. Hate the season. All the praise is worthless now. No.
I don't know if you want to rate this season lower than the Lightning Beast.
Yeah, no. Oh, but I don't want to. Yeah, 9.4. Look, call me a
All
sucker, but
right.
like this season, especially on how I binge episodes, it just blew me back when I first watched it.
5.5.
Yes, actually, damn, that's a bit higher than I expected. Then again, what did we rate Planet Hulk?
I can't remember.
Anyway,
I want to
I wouldn't want
say
any.
I want to say it was in the sixes range.
Yeah, but didn't we like
But that
absolutely hate
was
it because not because it was bad, because it was boring?
no, I hated the romance thing. Oh, wait, you're thinking of the
Oh, frick,
Incredible
Planet.
Hulk.
Oh, right. Did I say Planet Hulk?
Yeah, you said Planet
Yeah,
Hulk.
no, I was actually thinking about Incredible Hulk.
Okay, I want to say I rated that somewhere in the
Yeah,
threes.
like,
But again, that was quite a while back. Like that was back in January when we recorded it.
Jesus, I
Um,
should rewatch that episode. I don't rewatch any of the
but
episodes because obviously, like, I was in that. No need to watch it.
but yeah, we will be seeing you guys in 2 months for the final season. Um, and in that episode, we will be spinning our wheel to determine what TV show we cover next. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited for that. And until then,
When I look at you, I
I've
see me.
oh my god, I've been Avery, and that's been Lily, and we'll be seeing you.
Seeing